Alright, here we go. I am Unstable, joined here by Lirian for our winners match today. It is going to be Grubby up against STSquirtle. Of course, Grubby coming through Iagos and Squirtle through Violet. We're going to start it off on Cloud Kingdom. The winner of this set moves into the round of 32. And let's get into it. So we got Grubby down here at the bottom left-hand corner as our green Protoss. And then we have Squirtle up here at the top right as our red Protoss, of course, playing under Bomber's account because this was on a different server, as Grubby is in Europe and Squirtle is in Korea. We played them on NA for this one. So, let's get straight into it. Lirian, you're the Protoss player. Your turn to take charge and tell me what's going on.
Oh yeah, I'll take charge. I love PvP, especially the way PvP has been evolving as of late, and of course, especially on this map, we've seen some really late game PvPs. You know, you don't really ever see it go to 4 base on this map, but on 3 base, that's actually a pretty common thing to be seeing because it's very tough to attack up or attack into a Protoss who's got a lot of Colossi positioned at his 3rd base. So hopefully we're going to be enjoying ourselves a long macro game here between Squirtle and Grubby. Grubby, of course, the Dutch player. You know, you know, the Dutch player. He's from my country, man. Dutch proud. Netherlands fighting. I'm joking, of course. Everyone should have heard about Grubby. He's, of course, the world-famous Warcraft 3 player, arguably the best Warcraft 3 player, and has now been playing StarCraft for a year and a half?
It's been a while now, yeah. It's been at least a year. I don't remember exactly. Like, the last 2 years has gone in one big blur to me a lot of the time when I try and think of specific times that things happen. But anyway, we do have Grubby just scouting her out for any kind of shenanigans coming out from Squirtle. Oh, Squirtle not really the type to do that though. It's just not. It's not his playstyle. So we'll most likely just see a very straight up macro game between both these guys.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Squirtle is ever the kind of guy that goes for like proxy 2 gate or anything like that. But neither is Grubby. They're both very methodical and mechanical players. They rely on their mechanics, they rely on their game knowledge, and they try to win with that. I really don't see Grubby cheese that often. When I watch his stream, he throws out the 4 gate, you know, a couple of times in PvP because it can still work, especially when you scout early and you see your opponents doing a certain build. Anyway, both players opening up with the Zealot into a Stalker. No 3rd pylon yet for Squirtle, but there it is. So very standard play coming out here. Both players doing pretty much the same build. If it weren't for Grubby getting a Sentry after Zealot. Wow. That's different. Oh, what the hell? That Zealot out of Grubby actually killing the probe of Squirtle there. I don't even know what that probe was thinking, but that was a good pick-off.
Yeah, that's very interesting that happened. Sometimes the pathing can just be a little bit wonky, and that can end up favorably for the Zealot. But either way, you're right with that Sentry second. It's very interesting. Going straight into the robotics facility, we do see straight into a Twilight Council for Squirtle, and so often these days I've seen, like, just with the replays I watch from our team, a lot of PvPs sometimes end up in like a 2-base Stalker Immortal versus 1-base Blink Stalker, and it's like, like this whole back and forth dance to see what happens. But oh, the probe of Grubby is picked off by the Stalker, by Squirtle here. But it's going to be interesting. The 2nd Sentry now from Grubby.
Yeah, he's already got 2 sentries and he's finishing up that Robo right now. Very curious to see where he's going to be going from here. You know, the only thing that I can be thinking of is an early expansion on the back of this. He is grabbing himself 2 additional gateways right now, so it's not going to be a ridiculously early expansion, but just, you know, a bit of an early expansion in general. Of course, we're going to see STSquirtle go for the Blink. What else with that Twilight Council? He has 2 Stalkers and a Zealot already out on the map, and he has a Sentry back at home. That's not very standard for a Protoss player to do, get that Sentry out, but it is of course very useful in the case you get attacked when you're moving out across the map. You can buy yourself some time with that Sentry going for the forest fields. The gateways are now finishing up. Blink is 33% done for Squirtle, and Grubby is going to be chrono boosting out his first Immortal.
Well, he did actually lose his first Zealot out in the middle of the map here, literally, and he's probably just missed it. But he does have enough energy to keep these guys out pretty much indefinitely. He doesn't really need to, though. Once that Immortal's out, this is going to be completely shut down for Squirtle. However, he's got his own robotics facility for that Observer to help him blink up and down into the main if he needs to. And at the same time, here comes the Immortal. A second one on the way as well. So this will work out well for Grubby. As he does
Yeah,
get in
he's
there.
gonna have the units.
He has seen everything, yes. There we go.
Yep, Grubby is gonna have the right unit composition to deal with what Bomber is doing. It's just a matter of control at this point. Is he gonna be able to control everything the right way? Is he gonna have his Immortals in the right position? But it doesn't really look like Squirtle is gonna be, you know, super aggressive here. He is warping in another 3 Stalkers. I thought he might go ahead and expand, but no, he's not gonna do that. Warping in more and more Stalkers. Squirtle definitely wants to pressure Grubby here in a little while, as Grubby is expanding to his natural right now. But Grubby is given a lot of time here. Blink has been done for a long time, and usually you see Protoss players hit immediately when that Blink is done, and when only one Immortal is out on the field, and they might be able to focus it down. But Grubby has been given a lot of time to prepare here. Let's see how this first engagement is going to go. Grubby being very bold here. Where is he going?
He's probably trying to find that pylon. He's actually going to catch one of these Stalkers. Doesn't get to finish it off. However, he's got 2 Immortals already. He's got a 3rd one on the way. And this is actually just going to be devastating for Squirtle's army. Even if he does target them down one at a time, he's still got the sentry. He's got his own Stalkers there. And it looks like Squirtle is going to go straight into the main right now. And Grubby's units are out of position. He needs to be careful about this. He obviously sees it coming with his own Observer. And it looks like Squirtle's going to mix things up.
Oh, this is so tough to split your units correctly right now, and Grubby is not doing it. This Immortal, oh, good pursuits though. Probably saving the life of that Immortal. The Stalkers are focusing down a few probes. Now going to be blinking out of there. Now they could go ahead and blink into the main base. There is that Observer, of course, for Squirtle. The Observer for Grubby, did it die? No, the Observer for Grubby is still alive. He could go ahead and snipe that Observer right now. That would
I think that's what he's doing.
It.
There we go.
Oh,
He's
nice.
actually going to get it. That is going to shut down this aggression completely. There is nothing that Squirtle can do to get in the main. There's 3 Immortals there now. Really nice. Like, that was the quickest blink control I've seen in a while, because there was no way he'd know which targets those Immortals would pick either, and managed to keep all his units alive.
Yeah, albeit with only 1 HP.
Yeah.
On one of those Stalkers. So it was a close call there for Squirtle. But yeah, he's gonna hang on there. Oh, there go the 3 Immortals. Do some nice one-shotting action on those Stalkers. Of course, the second Observer is on the way for Squirtle, so he will soon once again have that opportunity to start blinking into the main base again. The expansion in the meantime for Squirtle has finished up as well. He's got his own Immortal out on the field. The worker count is equal. We see a very equal PvP mid-game right now. No players really ahead or behind. The only thing that Squirtle has over his opponent right now is that he has Blink on those Stalkers.
Oh, he's just blinked into the main as well. And he's oh, look at that. Grubby picking off the Observer while he's killing all these Stalkers. That is absolutely amazing control coming out from him. But there is no units down at the natural now for Grubby. He pulled the rest of his units up. He needs to get down there. Does pick up a Stalker in trade for a probe. But during all this time, of course, as I was pointing out on camera just earlier, Squirtle has expanded. And Grubby picks up another Zealot here. So very nicely done by Grubby so far. And as you were saying, this map generally tends to go towards larger macro games in PvP.
Yeah, it does, and we can see that in the form of 2 robotic space going down right now for both players, for Grubby and for Squirtle on the other side of the map as well. So both going to be transitioning into Colossus play. No forges have been added on just yet, but I'm expecting a forge out of one of these 2 players, or actually out of both of them in not too much time. You can, of course, also skip the forges and go for a second robotics facility to get double Colossi production as you take a 3rd, and then go into double forge. But there's a lot of different ways of going about it. Of course, the second robo, we're going to see that get started in the next minute or so. First, you want to start that first Colossus, start the thermal lance, and then start thinking about the second robotics or some form of upgrades.
Yeah, absolutely. Just noticing here, Grubby has a lot of Chrono Boost energy on his next eye. Whereas Squirtle doesn't really have that. He's been consistently using it a lot quicker by the looks of it. There we go, as you were saying, second robotics facility for Grubby, choosing to skip the forge. However, Squirtle's actually adding 2 more gateways as a difference instead. So this is a very interesting change. Both of them, of course, getting extended thermal lance and their first Colossus at the same time. And I don't think either one of them is ready to actually do anything right now. They just want to sit back, macro up, get their own unit composition right.
Yeah, you're right, unstable both. Oh, we see Grubby finding a proxy pylon in the bottom here, taking it out. A few Stalkers are going to be moving over here. 4 Stalkers and an Observer. This is probably just to snipe some probes, but he could be running right into this army. The Observer sees the army of Grubby and he's like, okay, well, maybe I'll blink into the main base another time. There is no defenses in the main base for Grubby right now. We see the robotics facility finishing up for Grubby, the second one. The second robotics facility is on the way for Squirtle as well, so both of them are going to be playing with the double robo style on 2 bases. Grubby has decided to add on a forge a little bit earlier. Grubby actually doing everything a little bit earlier, grabbing his second robo a bit earlier, grabbing his forge a bit earlier, and grabbing his third base a little bit earlier as well. That's all a result of, you know, expanding earlier and holding on well. Grubby has a very, very slight lead, very slight.
Yeah, it looks like Squirtle's doing the same thing here, taking his third base, and the Chrono Boost energy for Grubby has actually started to drop significantly as soon as he got those double robos and that forge. So, actually, knowing, like, having cast quite a few of Grubby's games, that was probably intentional after all of that. There is no way that something like that is skipped or overlooked by Grubby. So, no. We do see this Observer seeing everything here for Squirtle, and with these +1s, they're probably going to be finishing at roughly the same time. However, the second robotics facility for Bomber is actually making an Observer instead of another Colossus. So Grubby's going to steal ahead in that Colossus count.
And we see a Dark Shrine now being started by Bomber at the top of his main base, which is, you know, a Dark Shrine on 2-3 base PvP. That's always a little bit weird to see, but it can work out so good. How many Observers does Grubby have on the field? Just only one. Ooh, Grubby.
And it's going to go see the Dark Shrine, though.
It's flying. Yep, it's going to fly right over there. And with his 2 robos, he will be able to get Observers out in time. Taking a quick look at the Colossus count, we can see it's 4-4. The Sentry counts are close to each other. Immortal counts, Zealot counts, and the Probe counts are dead even. This is one of the most close PvPs I've ever seen. Neither player is ahead or behind. They both have a good chance of winning.
See, here's the thing. The Dark Shrine is actually the same, like, unit...
Oh. It got cancelled.
Yeah, it got cancelled for one, but it also looks exactly the same as a pylon when it's being made. So I didn't actually see Grubby clicking on it, so it was possible he didn't notice, but either way, Squirtle did cancel it, go for the Templar Archives instead. He's getting, Grubby's also getting Zealot Charge, and Grubby is now actually down 1 Colossus. How did that happen?
Grubby made a Warp Prism that is currently
that's right. Yeah.
on the left side of the map. Does it have the speed upgrade?
It does. It does. It was upgraded just before I was pointing it out on the camera. But at the same time, it has been spotted by that pylon, so it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, we should see a few Stalkers move into position for Squirtle to deal with that. I wonder how many times in this game we've said Bomber. I think I've said Bomber a few times instead of Squirtle because his name is Bomber. You know, the account is Bomber, and I'm like, Bomber, Bomber, Bomber. No, Squirtle, 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 not Bomber. Just using the account of Bomber.
Yeah, we just
talking about bombs. We are going to see some Zealot bombs get dropped into the main base of Squirtle right now, but
it's going to be shut down instantly. Oh, yeah. He's actually going to be like, oh, okay, I'll match your Zealot weapon with one of my own, and he's actually going to be able to clean that up.
Yeah,
there's enough Zealots.
The cannon is going to fall, and this is pulling the army of Squirtle completely out of position, giving Grubby time to position his army perfectly. Actually, no, not quite perfectly. Almost had time to set up the perfect concave for that third base, but not quite managing to do so. The Colossus helps up cleaning the Warp Prism in the main base, and the Zealots have all died. 3 base versus 3 base plus 2 is about to finish up for both players. Grubby is going to morph in some Archons. 6 High Templar on the way. He's going to morph them into Archons immediately, and as soon as he has those 3 Archons, he will have charge and he will have +2. And I think we're going to go into an engagement here. Dead even supplies. This PvP is so ridiculously close and stable. Oh, what the hell? There's 2 Zealots and an Immortal in this Warp Prism.
Yeah, that's a very strange combination to have in there. Unless he's planning to drop it behind the Colossus, which is very likely. But look at this. Squirtle's actually out of position here. He's got those targeting on those gateways there. But Grubby realizes he's too clumped up on that ramp to be able to do anything. Warp Prism coming back into the main. There is 2 cannons being warped in here at the same time. The Colossus are actually out in a weird position for Grubby. And look at that, there's actually a Colossus in the main as well. And Grubby is going to back off.
That's such a sign of confidence.
Oh, look at this! He's dropping the Immortal. It's actually going to get... Is it going to get the Colossus? Yes, it is. He's actually warping in units as well. He picked up the Immortal while he did that as well. Is he going to get another Colossus? Oh my god. No way.
This is so cool by Grubby. No, he's not going to get the second Colossi, unfortunately. I was going to say that it's such a... Oh, once again, Grubby might smell his opportunity here to start pushing in there. One Colossus is going to fall quite rapidly, and this time Grubby has a decent concave, but not all of his Colossi are firing. The concave is way better for a bomber. Is Grubby going to be able to push through here? He still has 2 Immortals left alive. No, he's not going to be able to push through, and he pushes back before the situation gets out of control. That engagement was pretty close, though. Taking a quick look at the units lost tab, we can see that Grubby has lost slightly more in that engagement compared to Squirtle. So Squirtle now, once again, you know, he's got the slightest of leads. It's really not even a lead worth mentioning, really. But he does have a small lead as Grubby is expanding to a 4th base.
Yeah, I think with the way this PvP has worked out, I think we're going to see exactly the same thing from Squirtle. He's, of course, seen it with those Zealots. And Stargate is actually finishing up in... where is it?
Grubby's...
There it is, main. In the main. For Grubby as well. So that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, he wants to get the fleet beacon. It's in production right now in the main base as well, near his mineral line. So he wants to get that mothership out for some vortexes.
Yep.
And are we ever going to get to that stage? Is Squirtle going to let that happen? Yes, he is. He's going to grab himself a 4th base as well. So we're going to get ready for some uber late game Protoss. There's an Archon in this warp prism. What the hell?
Well, we thought the same about the Immortal, and then it takes out a Colossus in the main, so we can't really knock it.
You're right. We shouldn't judge this Archon just because it's an Archon. You know, it can do things. No discrimination here. So let's see what this Archon is going to be doing. Maybe he drops the Archon into the mineral line at the expansion, at the natural.
It's quite possible. He does have +3, remember, so the Archon does quite... Oh, he should have +3 in a second anyway. Wait, yeah. I could have sworn I saw +3. There it is, yeah. It's going to finish up in about 20 seconds time.
There's the mothership production tab for Grubby as that Warp Prism is getting close to the natural expansion of Squirtle. Squirtle still, you know, he's still showing signs of aggressivity is something that I was going to say, but I don't think that's a word.
That's not a word, no.
So the Archon is now actually in the mineral line. The Archon is still at 0 kills, so far it looks like Archon is not the best, but the main engagement is going to happen here unstable. Who has the Superior Concave right here? I feel like it's Bomber, but Grubby doing a lot of damage. The Immortals now starting to hit the Colossi though, and they are gonna ravage through them. There's still a few Archons left alive as well. Such a close engagement. Bomber a little bit down on supply right now.
Oh, I think Grubby's gonna take this engagement here. A lot of those Colossi just fall. It is 6 Colossi to 3, and this Archon and Zealous is still in the natural here for Squirtle. And Squirtle in full retreat right now. He didn't even need the mothership. Literally, and he's just taken a commanding lead, 115 supply to 88. This is actually looking quite good for Grubby now.
Indeed it is, indeed it is. Archons and Stalkers being warped in for Squirtle to help defend. This 4th base is pretty much forfeit. There's no way he can defend against that. The warp prism for Mr. Squirtle is near the 3rd base of Grubby, but it's not able to do much as he needs every warp in back at home. But still he's going to go ahead and warp in. 4 Zealots being warped in near the 3rd base of Grubby as Grubby takes out the 4th base of Squirtle. And here comes Squirtle for his last attempt to break Grubby here. He lost the 4th. And is Grubby actually going to run? Ooh, lifts up one of his Colossi. Very weak Colossi is getting saved here. I think Grubby would have been able to fight here, but instead he is going to go back home.
Oh, he's actually all clumped up at the top now. A lot of his units taking quite a bit of damage, but the extra Archons are going to help him out there. His Colossus are on very low health, but the mothership is slowly but steadily coming across the map. Grubby is 1 base up, remember. He stopped mining at the natural here. He's only 10 supply up. He can't really fight up this ramp without taking quite a few bits of damage, but there we go. He's going to warp more units onto the high ground here. And, oh, these Colossi in such low health. One more volley is going to take one out. There we go. Squirtle doing a nice job picking up the extra Colossi here, and he's actually evened things out. 3 to 3 in the Colossi count. Grubby has 10 extra Zealots, though, and that could make the difference. And Grubby still hasn't revealed that he has a mothership on the field.
Grubby lost a lot of probes though to that warp in with the warp prism. That 4 Zealots that were warped in, they killed like 20 probes or 30 probes of Grubby. So Grubby down to only 36 workers right now, and even though he has that 4th base, he's not really able to utilize it right now, and he's going to be playing defensively. The mothership is out though and has enough energy for a vortex, and the vortex of course is going to be very pivotal here. But there is one High Templar, this High Templar over here unstable. If that High Templar hits his feedback right.
There is no observer with this. Oh no, yeah, there's 2. I was like, where are the observers? Oh my god. And he's now finally revealed that he does have it. Nice feedback by
Oh, that's the
Squirtle.
feedback on the mothership, but it looks like Grubby just has way too much stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god, the observers were taken out by the splash damage as from the Archons, and that's for Squirtle the GG. Oh my god, that was certainly one of the longest PvPs I've ever seen, but congratulations to Grubby, he will go 1-0 in this final game. Can he take down the second game literally and advance to the round of 32? Let's find out.